fishing news is sponsored by these fine partners.
No one was coming in or out of Manasquan Inlet this past Friday. No surprise, pretty much impassable. Lots of water in the back bays of New Jersey in this pre-Christmas storm last week, and that is what it looked like at Manasquan 2 hours into the outgoing tide. I'm Jim Hutchinson. It is December 29th, and this is our final video fishing forecast for 2022 here in the New Jersey, Delaware Bay region. And there's really not a lot to talk about in terms of folks out and about fishing last week. Some folks did it, I mean, obviously, but I mean, final days of holiday shopping, some of the worst back bay flooding here in New Jersey since Superstorm Sandy, and of course, the bitter cold. It all combined to keep a lot of folks otherwise and alternatively engaged in other pursuits through the weekend. I did hear a rumor from a friend this week of a few stripers he saw rolling in the surf somewhere in Monmouth County, which is cool. And with temperatures going below a ditch digger's threshold for pain as of this past weekend, I just really didn't hear of much of anything. No, a couple of guys got out with the tins and teasers, had a pick of fish, but maybe this weekend as it warms up. Did speak to Frank at Gabriel Tackle earlier this week in Brick. He mentioned a few schoolies to be found. That's in the Ocean County surf. Well, I did see a post on Facebook earlier this week. Bill Amend. He posted this at the Saltwater Fishing in Wildwood, New Jersey group page. So clearly, there are a few sand eels in the mix. So if you're going to give it a shot this weekend or in the next few days or whenever, well, tins and teasers are the way to go. Maybe the tsunami sand eels, smaller swim shads, of course, maybe a couple of deadly dicks. Just make sure you have those tins. And of course, some of the smaller plugs ahead of your teaser as well. The smaller SP minnows, maybe a Joe Baggs Swarter. That would be my advice. And that is down through Wildwood too. If you're seeing sand eels in the mix, why not give it a shot? Speaking of Wildwood, ham-handed segue there. Don't forget that the 2023 show season at the Jersey Shore gets started next weekend at the Wildwoods Convention Center, the Wildwood Fishing and Boating Expo. That's Saturday and Sunday, January 7th and 8th. The fishermen will be there with our goodies for your new and renewing subscription. Also, who will be there is the superstar, the new TV superstar, Nick Hanacheski, host of the Saltwater Underground. Congratulations, Nick has worked hard to get his Saltwater Underground on the national television. Yes, you can see it. Entering season 3 on the Sportsman channel. You'll find details on Nick's show and season 3 of Saltwater Underground on Sportsman channel in the January edition of the Fisherman Magazine. Now, in addition to the regular how-to and where-to information you get in every monthly edition of the Fisherman Magazine, we do, of course, have our Boat and Motor Buyer's Guide for 2023. That's in there. Plus, that full calendar listing, the calendar of events is loaded all the way through into February. Folks, if you have a February event and you didn't see it listed, it's just because we ran out of space. We'll cover more in the February edition. Plus, of course, you have all of our fishing reports compiled on a regular basis in the middle of the magazine from all of our field editors like Nick. Now, when you turn to the report section, you'll also find all the tackle shops that we've got partners with the Fisherman Magazine from Bayonne and Belleville all the way down to Cape May and across the bay in Leipzig and Lewis as well. The for-hire boats too, all the charter and head boats, many of whom are still sailing into 2023 and beyond. They have all their schedules listed in the magazine. You've got boats like the Skylarker, the Last Lady, the Big Mohawk, just to name a few, out of Shark River, or the Big Jamaica, the Jamaica 2 out of Brielle, along with the Dauntless, the Norma Kay. All these boats continue to sail. Of course, we mentioned the Black Sea Bass fishery. We've got that until the end of this weekend, right? January 1st, no Black Sea Bass, but we will continue with tog. We will continue with porgies and ling, and maybe some cod as well. You'll get all the details in that edition of the Fisherman Magazine on newsstands right now. It's funny, I saw another one on Facebook this week where surf casting legend Shell Karras posted this week how he stumbled across our very first New Jersey issue, Volume 1, Issue 1 from 1973. That had Jerry Gomber on the cover of the magazine. And the latest, well, this one I just had in my hand, Issue 1, Volume 51. Amazing stuff. 51 years old in 2023. Of course, in these winter weeks when we don't go to print, you'll want to subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you're not already a subscriber, if you already haven't hit the bell for the notifications, every week that this video updates, you'll get notification on your computer or your personal device, wherever you watch it. So make sure you're signed up there. Now, I started talking about stripers this week, and I'm not saying the stripers are gone. There are still stripers being boated out of South Jersey, in Atlantic, and Cape May County. Captain Frank aboard the Brittany B in Cape May, found some birds working inside the line the other day. He said, quote, epic day, full of great fishing with great friends, jigging up some fat stripers from 25 to 38 inches in length. So that's down into Cape May County. Right? The latest report we got from Delaware Fish and Wildlife said bad weather, again, kept most of the anglers off the bay and ocean last week, but anglers fishing in some of those tidal tributaries, and like along, let's say, the Woodland Beach Pier, you might find a small striper, but you're more apt to catch some of those white perch. At Indian River Inlet, they did have some small tog and small striped bass reported down there, but for the most part, Delawareans were waiting for the massive run of striped bass that we experienced at the Jersey Shore to arrive. Sadly, so many boats have been pulled for the year, and I think most of the fish now, those bigger fish especially, are on the highway inside the line heading south along the coast. Unless, of course, some of these smaller stripers and slot stripers decide to hang in there in some of these tributaries, which I think they have. We talked about Tom's River last week. I'm sure the Mullica as well. Here in New Jersey, of course, if those fish have traveled into those estuaries to hunker down for the winter, they are off limits as of January 1st. There's no targeting striped bass behind the inlets, not in the back bay, not in those salty rivers, not in any of those locations where those stripers are hunkered down. So just keep that in mind. In my opinion, strictly opinion, I think that the Delaware Bay striper bite hasn't been the same since the bunker, the menhaden, have rebounded, the population exploding over the past 20 years, right? It's just a casual conversation. If there's so much bunker outside along the coast, it's the old adage, why leave fish to find fish? Stripers are probably the same. In fact, the striper that we tagged in November of 2021, we named it Uncle Fred. Well, according to the stored data inside that satellite tag, she shot down the coast, didn't enter any estuary until her ultimate destination at the Chesapeake Bay in late November, Cape Charles, Virginia. That's where my friend Chuck Manny has still been fishing with a few buddies as of last week. His Tie Man, that True World boat of his, it's in dry dock. It's all laid up, snug as a bug under a tarp for the winter. But even last week, Chuck said those big girls were out to play down inside the Chesapeake at Cape Charles. 3 over 50 pounds on the day, with the smallest fish aboard Show Nuff Sport Fishing with Captain Clinton Lazard going 40 pounds. So things are kind of setting up the way they typically do every winter. By the way, congrats to Captain Greg DeMello aboard Andrea's Toy back here in New Jersey, the Gray Fish Tag Research Top Tagger of 22. An impressive showing of over 350 striped bass deployed with those Gray Fish Tag Research streamer tags. Way to go, Captain Greg. We'll have more on the Northeast Striped Bass Study in upcoming editions of the Fisherman Magazine. Look for the February edition and check us out at the shows. I mentioned the boat shows this year. We hope to be doing a little bit of fundraising at those shows coming up to raise money for our Northeast Striped Bass Study with Gray Fish Tag Research and the Fisherman Magazine and all the great sponsors out there that have already contributed. We're also going to be bringing back the Dreamboat Fishing Challenge and the Coastal Kayak Clash for 2023. For more on our 2022 winners here at the Fisherman Magazine, take it away, Tim Smith.
The 2022 Dreamboat Challenge has concluded with 2 former grand prize winners duking it out. When the dust settled, we found ourselves looking at a unique finish. Former winner Garrett Weir pulled some 9th inning heroics with a mammoth 17.85-pound blackfish right out of the end of the competition, which put him in 2nd place overall behind another former champion, Sam Dibner. One of the rules of the Dreamboat Challenge is that former winners of the grand prize cannot win it again, so the Steigercraft 23 Miami, powered by a Yamaha 200 horsepower outboard, defaults to the next person on the leaderboard who has not previously taken home the grand prize. That person was Connecticut resident Rob Carazano. Congratulations, Rob! And also our 4th place winner, Bill DaCosta, and to all the anglers who participated. Of course, there would be no Dreamboat without our sponsors, Steigercraft, Yamaha, Humminbird, Minn Kota, Marina Pez Vela, Engel, Finnor, Accurate Reels, Global Fish Mounts, Tsunami, Sea Eagle, Dexter, Owner, and Orion. For a complete Dreamboat overview, go to thefisherman.com or pick up a copy of our January issue. And as for the Coastal Kayak Clash, the winner is Justin Oser. 2nd place winner is Bob Wagner. And 3rd place winner is Tom Howd. These kayak anglers competed throughout the region in what was an epic battle. Here are the final standings. For the full story, go to thefisherman.com or pick up the January issue of the Fisherman Magazine. Special thanks to Hobie Kayaks, Humminbird, Penn, Fenwick, Yak Lights, Malone, and Yak Attack.
Now, over the course of the next few days, quite a few boats at the Jersey Shore down into Lewis and Indian River in Delaware will try to squeeze in the final days of the black sea bass fishing of 2022. That window comes down shut hard on us as of January 1st, and we won't get them back again until the spring. We're also looking at some nicer weather ahead, some much warmer weather in the region for this first week of January. So that bodes well for getting out there and doing a little bit of tog fishing or cod fishing or maybe ling. It's certainly not the kind of cold that we saw this past weekend. It's not the kind of cold that Captain Eric Kerber on a mission this past week, icing up the lines. You need antifreeze on that braid, I guess. And of course, we'll have to see if the NOAA marine weather forecast will hold up for this weekend. As it stands now, the middle of this week, it looks doable, and it looks like you're going to have some smooth sailing for the most part on those head boats, even if you have to deal with a little bit of rain. But it's not going to be as cold. And the longer range forecast from the folks at NOAA heading into next week, National Weather Service, it looks like it's warming up rather nicely. So again, togging will probably offer your best bet for action in the coming weeks, especially as we head into 2023. From the Big Mohawk in Belmar, as well as the Skylarker down Manasquan Way, where the Norma K is running 3/4 day trips. In South Jersey, perhaps you can find a spot with Kopi on full ahead, perhaps, while taking advantage of the final days on the Miss Avalon. Apparently, this will be the last weekend of trips as of New Year's Day. So if you want to line the rail there on the Miss Avalon. But again, if you're chomping at the bit, maybe you're chomping at the bit to spud bar your way through some icy conditions. Some ice fishing, that bomb cyclone or whatever it is you want to call it, it did put a few inches of ice into some local waters. I saw some folks trying their way out there at Bud Lake. I'd be careful. But in the Poconos, you may have a better option. Let's check in with George, the Pocono Outdoors guy.
Well, hey, thanks, Jim. I hope everyone's enjoying this holiday week, but I'll tell you what, we're all recovering from that Arctic blast the past week. Temps are a bit milder now, but I'll tell you what, that thing did leave us with a bunch of fishable ice, which is a good thing. A lot of guys have been out. It's got a couple inches here, so just be careful where you go. Some of the bigger lakes are still a little bit shallow yet with the ice, so just be careful and spud bar your way out if you're trying some new water. But good friend Josh Taylor, he's been out exploring a couple lakes, getting into some crappie and some perch, so lots of good fish in there. And even the rivers, you know, some of them rivers are still wide open. Guys like river guide Steve Kolnick, he's been out catching some winter trout, some beautiful brown trout. So there's lots of options now, even though we're just coming out of what felt like part of Canada, I'll tell you what. All right, guys, I'll tell you what, you get out and get on these fish. From Pennsylvania, I'm George, your Pocono Outdoors guy.
From the Pocono Mountains to the west coast, the Pacific coast of Costa Rica, let's check in with Ben Gilmore of Jackpot Sport Fishing out of Marina Pez Vela.
Hey there guys, and a happy new year. This is Ben Gilmore from Marina Pez Vela, Costa Rica. We're experiencing a red hot billfish bite right now. The blue marlin bite 20 to 30 miles off the Marina Pez Vela has been nothing short of phenomenal the last few weeks. Lots and lots of blue marlin, many boats going out and catching 2, 3, 4 marlin in a day. We got a few striped marlin mixed in also, and our sailfish bite has really picked up this week as well. Just in time for one of our biggest tournaments of the calendar, we got the Pelagic Rockstar happening over the 11th, 12th, 13th of January here at the Marina Pez Vela. It's going to be a big one. Last year, over $1 million on the line. Let's see what happens this year, but we're expecting more than 80 boats. Don't miss this one, guys. We'd love to see you down here in Costa Rica. This is Ben Gilmore with Jackpot Sport Fishing.
Hey, and don't forget your license and registration. That's going to be needed as you get into 2023. Here in New Jersey, to fish free, you still have to register. You can go to saltwaterregistry.nj.gov. Again, it's free to register. It's also free in New York. Go to the New York DEC website. If you're going to be fishing over on both sides, make sure you register in New Jersey and New York, wherever you might be fishing. In Delaware, of course, you'll need the full license. And that'll cover you for saltwater and freshwater. And I would get that license right now for Pennsylvania or New Jersey for 2023. You still have some good opportunities, of course, to get in on some of those stocked rainbows in the Garden State. A lot of the times they're going to be put and take in some of those waters, but get in on it. That's usually one of the fun ways to start the 2023. One of the fun ways for me to start a new season is to head out into some of these streams, lakes, ponds, wherever those stocked trout can be found. Be sure to also stop by the Tackle Box in Hazlitt and join the fight against cancer while also earning a big prize package, or earning your chance at a prize package, which includes a trip aboard the brand new Jones Brothers Tackle Box Sport Fishing Charters in 2023, dinner at bars, and also a little gift array from the folks at NLBN. Again, stop by Tackle Box in Hazlitt to find out about that. And of course, as I said, our show season will kick off next weekend, January 7th and 8th, at the Wildwood Fishing and Boating Expo. That's at the Wildwoods Convention Center right there along the beach. Maybe we'll bring our surf gear, who knows. Then you've got the Garden State Outdoor Sports Show the following weekend, the 12th to the 15th of January. That's the big hunting and fishing show up there in Edison. We'll be out there. We've got the fish bites. We've got BKK hooks. That's for you. For your new and renewing subscription to the Fisherman Magazine, be sure to stop by and say hello and get that done. Of course, I said it before, I'll say it again. You'll find a full calendar of events listing in that January edition of the Fisherman Magazine. So if you're looking to get out and about and the winter cabin fever starts to set in, pick up the edition, go to the calendar of events, find out what activity is happening that weekend, because we have so many flea markets, so many shows and events here at the Jersey Shore in January and February. Will keep you busy the whole time. So what do you say? We're heading into the new year. You got a New Year's resolution? Well, a lot of folks have pointed out that sometimes I'm rather grumpy, irritable, miserable. I'm very opinionated. Yeah, I am very much like that. So I am resolving in 2023 to continue all of those things. Catch them up. Enjoy the New Year's weekend. We'll talk to you again next week right here at thefisherman.com.